Dutch central bank president Klaas Knot has called on companies to increase wages, saying their profits are enough to merit a decent pay rise. A pay rise of between 5% and 7%, coupled with the government's price ceiling on energy, would be enough to head off the impact of rising prices.
Here's a summary of the article.
Dutch central bank president Klaas Knot has called on companies to increase wages, saying their profits are enough to merit a decent pay rise. A pay rise of between 5% and 7%, coupled with the government's price ceiling on energy, would be enough to head off the impact of rising prices, Knot told television program Nieuwsuur on Thursday evening. We have done the calculations and we don't want wages to decline further. If you want to keep wages at the same level, then you need a pay rise of between 5% and 7%. It is an average at a macroeconomic level, he said. Trade, industry and transport are all making high profits, particularly those which have grown on cheap gas and labor, he said. That, he said, means higher wages in sectors that can afford it. Knot was one of a group of economists to hold talks with ministers on Thursday about measures to offset the impact of high inflation.
This post received a score of 20,000, with an upvote ratio of 95%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Someone realized you need people being able to afford to spend money to keep economy going.
Adam Smith, the father of free market capitalism, knew this 300 years ago.
Dude actively asked for certain taxes like beer taxes to be lowered to improve the condition of the poor.
Don't get him started on landlords.
Any other good places to get in-depth info on landlord ISM? Books, videos, etc.
Henry George created an entire movement and economic philosophy centered around value being derived from resource point of origin and demand for an abstract good that humans should be collective owners of, land. His proposal was to tax the shit out of the monopoly on valuable land. The parasitic reward structure would collapse as landlords would now have to compete to maintain their profits. Want to charge a higher rent? Well, you're paying X amount on your downtown block of land in taxes that are returned to the people. You better have improvements to justify people not going elsewhere so you can absorb demand.
Interested on why you don't consider yourself a Georgist anymore? I've read up on what he proposes somewhat and a lot of it makes sense on the surface. Would appreciate a little nudge in the direction of what could constitute a failure in his proposition.
It's one of the things I'm really glad I live in Belgium for. We have something called the index, which is based of the pricing of certain essential goods, and wages are automatically adjusted based on it.
We have multiple price indexes in the UK. The government just ignores them and tells people not to ask for pay rises and gaslights people that do.
Meanwhile, in Canada, the Governor of the Bank of Canada actively discouraged companies from giving pay raises during this period due to it contributing to inflation. Yay, Canada!
It changes but is generally understood to be around 5% unemployment. Our country is currently running at 3%. Effectively the wish to achieve a level of unemployment to slow down the rate of wage increases. Raising interest rates is a means of achieving that, as lending price increases means businesses have to reduce their expenses, which often means the number of employees they have. We need an impoverished class to maintain the current system, and it's government policy to achieve that.
I'll take things that would never happen in the States for 500 Alex.
The opposite happened in Canada. LOL. Where the major bank said wages needed to be suppressed.
This shit makes me want a general strike. We should require wages to automatically match inflation every 6 months to a year too. There's no reason corporations should pocket all that money while telling us it will get better.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.